Hello and welcome back to ARAH, the G.I. Joe Real American Hero Costume Club YouTube channel. I am your host. I am your founder, Wild Bill Hardy. Excuse me. In the last video series, we had concluded Article 6, Code of Conduct. In this video series, we're going to do Article 7, Event Classifications and Costume Standards. Now, mind you, there's only 9 articles of the charter, so I mean we're getting through this, so we're almost done. So, without any further ado, Article 7, Event Classifications and Costume Standards. I think I'm going to break this up into 2 videos, in the effort of keeping it time sensitive or time short, because I can prattle on. But because there's kind of a bit to it, and I really feel the need to just properly explain things. So I'm going to dedicate this video to the event classifications and explain what that means, explain why it's in the charter, and we'll do the same for costuming standards in the next video. Okay. So let me read through this and then I'll explain it. Okay. It's pretty straightforward, really. But G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero Costume Club, makes appearances at events whenever possible. The types of events that the club participates in, predominantly public events like parades and conventions. But if so requested, the club is not limited to appearing at corporate parties, birthday parties, storefront sponsorships, limited to retail establishments that sell Hasbro G.I. Joe merchandise. Or charity-sponsored events. Any member can organize such events. In fact, they're highly encouraged to do so. If someone requests a G.I. Joe presence, the club will do all it can to facilitate that request. Some event locations may have to be taken under careful consideration. I'll explain that in a moment. Members who participate in requested events are prohibited from accepting monetary payment for their appearances. Payment in the form of food and drink is permitted should the event requester insist on paying the members for their participation. Those members are to insist that the event requester make a donation to a charity of their choice. If the charity option is left up to the members, children's and or veterans charities are always encouraged. Cash or check donations should be made out to those specific charities and personally delivered to said charities in a timely manner. Okay, what does this all mean? Basically, like I said in that first paragraph, our events are not limited to just parades and conventions. However, those are probably going to be the bulk of this club's events that they participate in. There could be a situation where you have a store that has, like, for instance, okay, here in Oregon, in the Portland metro area, we have a store that basically sells Hasbro toys, the Star Wars line, the G.I. Joe line, all the like. I've been in works with him, or trying to get in works with him, of creating a a big G.I. Joe event for that section that he has for dedicated to G.I. Joe. Like, sorry, that's the dog I'm house sitting for, chewing on a bone. In the grand scheme of things, we wanted to make a big display. We wanted to pick an iconic character. He chose Cobra Commander, so we wanted to build a Cobra Commander, statue. Not a statue, but like a mannequin with the Cobra Commander costume on it in the full. We just haven't never gotten around to doing that yet, but something like that, and then have like a big kickoff extravaganza for that. Something like that, yeah, we can do. However, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Birthday parties. I mean, it's rare. I mean, this is more of a common thing in the 501st Rebel Legion, the Star Wars clubs, where they actually are contacted to do private parties like Hey, little Johnny's having his 10th birthday and we want to have a bunch of Star Wars characters come and interact with him. You know, the term sounds derogatory, but it's not really meant to be. It's a clown for hire, right? Because you're essentially doing the same service. You're entertaining the kids for a birthday party, just kind of like a clown for hire would, And that's not to say I'm calling you guys clowns, because I'm not. But I mean, we are not limited to that. To just the parades and the charity, or the parades and conventions. We could do charity events too. I mean, the sky's the limit. Basically, in a situation like this, if we were bigger and we had multiple team leaders, that would be something you should be hustling for. Hustle for events, your local charities. See if there's something you can work with them and do a charity event for them, raise some money for them. Yeah, we have children's charities here. We have veterans charities here. Children and veterans. I mean, that's kind of like we're military culture, right? We're GI Joe, so we should be focusing on veterans. But I have a heart for kids. I lost a brother to cancer at the age of 7. He had leukemia. He died at the age of 7, and he died at a time when things like Children's Miracle Network here in the Pacific Northwest and Make-A-Wish, they didn't exist then. So whatever we can do to help facilitate those charities, to put a smile on a kid's face, to help a child feel a little bit better as they're going through a rough time, that's one of the things that we can do. So on the storefront, I don't want store owners paying you guys. I don't want mom and dads who have you come into their child's birthday party paying you guys, right? Always, always, always defer those payments. If they want to pay you, you could say, hey, a soda and a sandwich would be great. Thanks. That's allowable. But actual being paid for your time, being paid for your gas, this is volunteer. We volunteer to do this sort of thing. And quite honestly, the reason why these rules exist, especially in the Star Wars clubs, those are the legal agreements with Lucasfilm, now Disney, right? Whatever's in their charter, that is the legal agreement, right? Because those were the things that Disney, well, then LFL, Lucasfilm, had imposed on them. They did not want people making money off of their intellectual property. And that is why I carbon copied those set of rules into our charter here. It's the same reason, right? Even though Hasbro's never asked us to have these rules in place, I put them in place so that Hasbro could see that we take our club serious, we take our relationship with them serious, and that the legal agreements that the Star Wars clubs have, I am operating under those same legal agreements for our club, and that's what keeps us from getting a cease and desist. So, members, absolutely, without a doubt, do not accept payment for an event that you have done. If they slip you some cash, right? If they slip you some cash, the best thing that you could possibly do, and I get that it's an honor system, but here's the thing is, if it ever gets back to us that someone took money, right? That's an actionable offense. That is conduct unbecoming. I mean, like, I cannot risk this club being basically shut down because someone wanted to, pad their pockets. Don't do it. Please don't do it for the sake of our club. If you are given cash, and this has happened to me too, like in the past when I have been with the Star Wars clubs, it's happened to me too, where I have been slipped an envelope of cash, or that they slipped it in my bag when I, after I refused it, they slipped it in my bag and I left, and here's this, it was like $100 or whatever. But they slipped it in there, and I'm like, oh crap, what do I do now? Well, what you do is you go to a local charity, and I don't care which one. Go to a charity that you wish to host. Go to somewhere that is, a passion for you. I don't care as long as you don't keep it, right? I mean, it would be preferred that it were a veterans charity or a children's charity, but if it's something that's near and dear to you, as long as it's a charity and you're not keeping it and you get a receipt for it, you get a copy of it, you take a picture of it, you send it to us so that you ensure that you're above board, we're good, right? Um, Devry's mother passed away of MS, and we have done a charity fundraiser for MS in the past. So it's not like I'm saying, and I use that as a means of illustrating that, you know, while I encourage veterans charities and children's charities, if it's a charity, it's a bona fide charity, hell, even if you know, you want to go donate to your local animal shelter, you know, that's fine. But just don't pocket the money. Um, I can't stress that enough. So, um, because we do this to have fun, we don't do this to get paid. We're not paid actors. Um, I believe Hasbro would follow suit with Lucasfilm in the regard of how we handle their intellectual property. And then, again, this is why these standards are in place. This is why you know, why I have specific rules for event classifications. This is why I have specific rules for merchandising and swag. It's all about those legal agreements that those other clubs have had with the powers that be, and it's me following suit to ensure that our club never gets shut down. Point blank, period, end of discussion. That's the way it is. You don't agree with it? Sorry, you don't agree with it, but that's the way it is. So, last thing, I had mentioned something about events where some event locations may have to be taken into careful consideration. JOCAD, right? Obviously, there's going to be some events like corporate galas or whatever where there may be drinking involved, there may be alcohol being served, and it might not be a good fit for your children. And that's why I put that in there. I mean, it's kind of common sense, really, but it's just bear in mind that certain events may not be suitable for all members of the local area club members, right? So take that into consideration. Conventions, for the most part, are pretty much open to everybody, but it's like the after hours parties and such. You know, those are the things that you need to take into consideration and be aware of. So I think I have pretty much covered everything for event classification. So I'm going to end this now. I'm going to thank you for paying attention, and I thank you in advance for strictly adhering to these policies, because they are that important. The breaking of these policies is what can break us as a club, and I'm not even joking about that. You know, they have a bigger legal team than I do, and you know the expression, you don't fight City Hall. So you don't fight big corporations either. So, I mean, unless you know you're in the right, in which case we're playing with their intellectual properties, so we exist at their leisure. So let's remember that and be mindful of that and be respectful of that. So with that, I'm going to end event classifications. Thank you for your time. Yo Joe, Cobra, knowing is half the battle. And we will talk to you soon with costuming standards. Oh, if you have comments, questions, concerns about event classifications, you need some more clarification, drop those questions in the comments and I will address them accordingly. Okay. So next up will be costuming standards, and then we will conclude Article 7, event classifications and costume standards. Okay. Thank you for your time. We'll talk to you guys later. All right. Take care.